I went into town with my youngest son Corey this week, and they got one of the Army Careers trailers, and I was feeling a little bit saucy, so I went over there. I went up to one. I said, "Could you just answer me a quick question, please?" He's like, "Yeah, what?" I went, "Why are we at war with Afghanistan?" And he went, "That's a question I couldn't answer." And then everybody else sort of chipped in. One of them, the most intellectual, if you like, answer, he said, "The Afghan government have paid us to go in there and keep peace." But most of them were like, "Couldn't tell you." And I said, "Well, do you not think that it's wrong just killing these people?" And practically every single one of them said, "We're not allowed to have an opinion on that." Now let's look at the logic of that alone. Most people know that the world is going to hell in a handbasket. A lot of people now know that it's down to the people that own the banks. Most people don't know that the people who own the banks also own the churches and the military, and everything is all under one thing. There are a few families worldwide who own everything, and a lot of the tools at their disposal they use to control us by. One of them is religion. They take our innate goodness, our belief, and they wall it in. But the most effective tool is education. The reason for you having to remember facts and figures, dates of wars, statistics, crap like that, it's not about you having to remember that. It's about you being petrified of forgetting that, because it is something that you take into your adult life. And look how we behave as adults. We get up in the morning, we do a day's work whether we like it or not, because we have to. It's what we're bred to do from the age of 4. Now, I would like you to ponder, human beings, we're meant to be the most civilised species on the planet. And yet, to my knowledge, we're the only species where a mother is not allowed to rear her own young. But in the wild, animals don't behave that way. Human beings, however, mothers don't have a say-so. It isn't about right and wrong. It's about filling up memory synapses with as much stuff as possible. And the reason for this is to wall us in. We're constantly chasing for this bit of information, trying to remember that, and petrified of forgetting it, petrified of the numbers not adding up. And then there's that huge thing, one of the first things implanted is that it's somebody else's job to do it. And look who is the head of the church. You cannot say you are anything to do with God and sit on a golden throne. It is completely the opposite of God. And if you believe in Jesus, I couldn't say whether I do or not, but I do know that Jesus is credited in the Bible of saying, "Do not trust these people, they are not of God." And Jesus didn't go out and, "Oh yeah, I think I'll wear my Gucci sandals today," and like, "Oh, I ain't going out with my hair like this, what will people think?" That wasn't what it was about. It was about teaching. It was about getting the message across, and the message has not got across. We're not living the way that Jesus tries to teach, and yet millions at least say that they are saved by Jesus because they go, "I believe that I'm saved by Jesus." You've just got to believe in it and worship in buildings of bricks and stone. And it's tethering our minds, and we aren't progressing. These people are greedy, they are ruthless, and they breed us to laugh at anybody like me who picked up and says, "What if?" Even though what I'm doing is for the love of my species and every other species on this planet and the planet, because I'm talking against the people with all the money, I'm evil. Riddle me that. One thing, and you'll hear it everywhere, this won't ever be done in our lifetime. This won't ever be done by our generation, is what we should say. Because trust me, this is easy to rectify. All we have to do is just one generation not fence in their brains, not make them remember the dates of every war, not make them know that kings and queens are fab, not tell them they've been saved and all they've got to do is a little sing-song in the morning, and then one day everything's going to go boom, because people have been waiting for that to happen for generations. They have kept us dangling with a lie for generations, and we don't do anything about it because we're petrified in case it's true. But the people that created this God that we are fearful of, which no God would ever be, no God would say, if you don't worship me in these ornate buildings, you're stuffed. No, a loving God, whether or not they believed in him, he would look at the people who were working for the benefit of the planet that they're on. Our planet has amazing resources and genius minds. They get used for war because they're in the hands of the people who fiddle with the numbers. So we've got people go on, oh, credit crunch, things are bad, times are hard, blah de blah. Nobody says, stop spending millions on war. We think it's because of everyday man on the street. There is nothing that each one of us could do that would rectify the money situation. These are massive numbers these people are spending, utilising the earthly resources and the manpower, the only two things that money could ever equate to, ever. People's talents and things to use those talents on. Only two things that you can physically buy. We attach different numbers to them so that they get their share of the money back from the rich people. It's like, obviously, I've made the conscious decision that I'm not going to go for personal wealth. I work for free. If you want me to come and do a talk for you, just get me there. My time is free. If you want to ask me any questions, my time is free. My YouTube channel is me documenting the learning journey that I am on. You can't ever be near the end. So many people, and to be fair, it's usually men, sorry guys, say, oh yeah, oh I already know this. But that is just, it's the way you've been bred to act in these situations. If you don't say that and instead just sit and listen to what's being said, somewhere in there could be a nugget of information that you didn't know before that could change everything. But what we have to do, simple as, is not keep doing to our children what was done to us and our parents, because it is done by greedy bankers for their gain. Education should be about a child wanting to know something, not about every child, regardless of age, aptitude, ability, interest, being told you must remember this or you are a failure. Please, these are tactics that have made it so that our generation will laugh at people like me. And all we have to do is not do it. Stop dressing every child identically, sitting them in a row saying, yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir, and having to learn exactly what's handed down from up there. Whether or not you believe it, the teacher believes it, or anyone believes it. It's on the curriculum, it goes in your head, and it messes with them. My children are watching things that are genuinely frightening to an adult. And what does that do to a child? It desensitises them, so when they grow up, it doesn't matter if they're asked to shoot somebody's head off for money. And we're not allowed to have an opinion on it. It's time to start having an opinion. Yes, we've been shafted. There's no shame in not knowing. But there are many of us now. It's not just me. I don't think I'm something special. In fact, I know full well I'm not something special. But there are lots of people like me now trying to get the message out before it's too late. We need to learn how to love. We need to learn compassion and tolerance and patience. We need to learn to listen, we need to learn to care, and we need to stop this money thing. As Jesus says in the Bible, you've got money, you've got love. They're two separate entities. You cannot worship God and mammon, the pursuit of personal wealth. It does not add up. So you do one or you do the other. We aren't allowed to love because everything is money. And these people own the church and they make the money and they educate us. The time has come for this world to change, and it will change. I don't have any doubts. I have complete faith. We find it personally affronting if somebody says everything that you've done all your life is wrong. You know, it's not the case. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying we've been doing it for the wrong reasons. Everybody's life is going to benefit from this change, except for, obviously, the Morgans and the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. They're probably going to get a bit pissed off. My purpose has been, and will be, to document as much as I can so that it doesn't matter if they decide to take me out. My work's already there. We are all a part of a universal energy. We're all made up of energy. That feeling, you know, when you know somebody's looking at you. How can that happen unless there is something that goes beyond the physical? And yet we're bred to poo-poo it by the people who know full well that it's true. And all you have to do is look at the buildings that they worship in, that they live in. Sacred geometry all over the show. They've known this stuff. The church knew where ley lines were hundreds of years ago. We've only just found out that they exist. The Vatican has got the biggest store of secret stuff. There is nothing hidden that will not be revealed. If they keep it secret, it will get out anyway. They'll find other channels because it is meant to happen. They have been desperately clinging on to their secrets. Since they were given them, everything can be decoded. And if the people that gave them those secrets want them out, they're going to come out no matter how secret they try and make it. These people are bad. And all we have to do is just spread the question. Why do we, for a start off, moan about having no money, but don't say, but the war costs a fortune? Because we're bred to not argue from the age of 4. And if we do take any generation and not do that to them, say, well, what is it that you would like to know? Pander to their gifts and abilities, their talents. We have got a future. But sticking our fingers in our ears isn't going to change the world. But it is going to change. I believe that children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. But do not fill their heads with random crap that they're petrified to forget. Because it doesn't change anything. It never has and it never will. That's why they do it to us. And it's not